Look at us. 2 weeks in a row.
Somebody give us an award.
No, we worked today. We froze our tails off the last couple days. We'd ran some errands in town, got groceries, and we're like, let's just sit down and do another video. We kind of been talking about this subject a little bit, so we're going to share.
Yeah, it sort of goes on to the old statement of you need to trust the elders and trust the organization. And you've probably heard us say before that this was a big deal in our disfellowshipping since we refused to say that they were trustworthy or that we could trust them. And it wasn't a personal vendetta. I mean, it's just the Bible doesn't say
Right.
That you should trust humans. And
Right.
not to say that they've got a good track record either.
No.
But at one point in those debates, this was a reoccurring subject matter that continually came up. But at one point in one of these debates, an elder thought he was going to pull one over on me, and he says, well, then you don't trust your wife? And I said, no. And so then he's like scowled, and he's mocking, oh, so you don't trust your wife? That's horrible. You know, it's like, who are you to say, you know, you're not even married? I've been married happily for 20 years. You've got no freedom of speech there, buddy.
Yeah.
But,
For some reason, trust seems to be one of those things that people use to give themselves like warm, fuzzy feelings, I guess, which leads many people to be quick to trust people. Like they're naive and they trust people, and then they pay the price because mistaken or false. It's just misplaced trust. I know as an example, like we have a really beautiful family that lives in our community, and a couple of years ago one of them had a baby, and she said, everybody loves babies, and they're like saying, anytime you want to take her for the night or whatever, and I'm like, what? I would never do that, if I had a child. I know what she meant, but just the idea, like you just to trust somebody with your child like that.
and a lot of times people say that tongue in cheek too.
Yeah,
They're like, oh my goodness, I'm so sick of this kid crying. Want to take him for a night? But if it was, and we don't know whether it was or it wasn't, but just the idea of it because of our backgrounds and the things that we've had happen or see happen in the organization with CSA.
For sure.
Really.
For sure. Like the way parents just with open arms give their children out to somebody out in service or at the meeting, or I don't know what. I don't even know what they think. Like it just boggles my mind, the trust that parents have with their children.
Misplaced trust. And
the lack of,
Yes. And it's, again, I've said this before, I'll say it again. A brother came up to me and he said, because we were studying with someone who had a sexual record, and he said, so do I need to watch my children around them? And I'm like, you need to watch your children around me. They're your children. Yeah. And I think we said that in that previous video, which we'll reference again, I'm sure.
It's just that how do you know? How do you know?
Right.
Oh, gosh.
But the other day, an article came up by some scholar on Tiffany's feed. I don't know what was it on?
It was like the difference between trust and confidence.
But I mean, what device, what forum?
We were in
was it Facebook?
I don't think it was Facebook. It was just, I don't remember.
TikTok? I don't know.
No, it wasn't TikTok, because it was actually like pictures of an article that I read out of a book.
We were going down the road, and she's reading
vehicle.
it to me while we're driving. But
yeah.
And as with most scholarly articles, it's a word salad. That's a great phrase now that I'm saying used quite a bit. But it's a word salad that isn't able to come up with any definite solutions a lot of times, as with most debates about words. Mm-hmm. But it did bring out some good points that we thought were really interesting and solidified the differences, at least in our minds, in our eyes. So without going into all the details, or bringing up the article basically stated that confidence, and that's what it was. I think it was the difference between confidence and trust, or confidence versus trust, or something like that. So again, it basically stated that confidence is based on past performance. So in other words, I know you're capable of doing whatever because I've seen you do it before. Uh-oh, she wants a stick.
Come on. Oh.
Give me that chimkin.
You want that? Okay, you sit right here next to me.
So, again, confidence is based on your past performance. Seen you do it before, I know you can do it again.
Yep.
But your
There's history.
But the article said trust had more to do with intentions. So, I've seen you do it before, so I have confidence that you can do it, but that doesn't mean that I trust that you will do it for whatever reason. I don't know what your intentions are. But it brought out something more than that left a pretty big gap between confidence and trust. Make her go away because we're going to hear her crunching on that thing. Here, watch this. There you go. Ready? Go get it.
Oh, go get it.
You can hear her crunch from a distance.
That little dog is such a diva. She's a good girl.
So again, the gap between confidence and trust that the article couldn't address was basically that the big difference between trust and confidence was based on similarity of morality. And you'll have to pause that and think about it for a second, maybe. At least I did when she said that. Similarity of morality. And again, she was reading it as I was driving. I'm like, wait a minute, go back and read that again. What the heck's that mean? Similarity of morality. So in other words, and a lot of times with morality, we think biblical morality, or we think
At least
religious morality.
At least, yeah. Well, and that depends on what religion you're talking about, right?
And well, that's the thing with morality by definition. In the secular definition, and so this is in the secular sense, morality has to do with, and the Watchtowers actually talked about this a time or two, and they're correct. Whereas morality is what the general consensus of people approves of. So for the United States, the morality may or may not be centered around Christianity, depending on where you're at. You know, if you're in San Francisco, maybe your morality is not centered around the Bible, but it's around what the people consensus surrounds. So if you're in India, it might be, what are they, Buddhist? I don't know. Or if you're in North Korea, it's going to be what Kim Jong-un says, the regime says.
Yeah.
But it's whatever the consensus of people comes to as a morality, and then you can discuss all those other factors. But morality in a secular sense, so similarity of morality. So basically it boils down to that that they would do exactly as you would do. And this is where the article had a problem bridging that gap, because it doesn't even consider the fact that that's an impossibility for humans.
Yeah.
Even
the two closest people would never do the same thing, would never do exactly the same thing in any situation.
And that's a good point.
In any given situation, I mean.
And we should talk about that in a minute. But we believe the Bible actually has that peg they're missing. And maybe you'll remember to that video we did on trust. Jeez, I don't remember when that was.
Well, that was quite a while ago.
But it talked about many of the same things that we're talking about here.
I'll try to tag it when I do that.
But in that video, we talked about how the New World Translation, at least at the time, heck, they could have changed it since then because you can't trust them. And you have confidence that they'll change stuff all the time.
Yeah.
But at that time, at least, there were exactly 100 occurrences of the word trust, trusted, and trusting. And none of them said anything about angling that towards a man, that you could trust a man. In fact, it said expressly the opposite, that you should not trust them. They are not trustworthy. Mm-hmm. So again, this scholarly article helped to explain why that is. We can have confidence in someone based on their performance that we've witnessed, but we can't be sure of their intentions. And even more than that, even if we are, because of the confidence of their past good intentions towards us, that we have confidence they have current good intentions toward us, we can't guarantee. Maybe I should ask that in a question. Can we guarantee that will always be the case? How many marriages have broken up where they thought they had trust or confidence in their spouse? Or how many workmates did they think they had confidence, only find out that they were backstabbing them to get ahead? So all these other things play into that. So, but even more than that, even if their intentions are good toward us, can we guarantee that they would do exactly as we would do? Again, you can gain confidence in someone. And you mentioned this before. You just talked about even if you're close to one another. Mm-hmm. I mean, we work with each other every day.
Yeah. We're together like 23 hours, 23 and a half hours of the day we're together.
And I'm not sure what that half hour is. Maybe we're going to the bathroom or something. But
we are always together, and we do everything
all day,
together.
Every day for nearly 20 years. And we've been married for longer than 20 years, but you did have a job that was separate for a little while. So she was in photography. Yeah, so anyway, and she very quickly decided she wanted out of that and wanted to be self-employed, which means she'd be stuck with me. I must be that desirable.
Mm-hmm. Truly.
But even saying that, 20 years, all day, every day, we still have differences of opinion on how some things should be done.
We bicker and banter about things all day long.
What's one of the main things we bicker and banter about that we don't agree on that you notice in our day-to-day work, for example?
Like work, you mean
sure.
at work?
I'm just thinking of work. Because that's all we're doing right now is working.
Working, yeah, that's right. All we're doing, yeah, exactly. Probably, like we go out to the yard or something, we're pulling parts. I usually do one. I do something on the queue, you do something on the queue. So it's usually packages and we come back. Like doing any sort of packaging, we cannot do a package together.
We can do it together. We just butt heads the whole time we're doing it.
Yeah, like I'm always saying, don't use that tape, or you should use this box, or this is what you need to fill it with. Or I'm kind of bossy and control freak about packages because I'm very particular.
That's because you got to do the claims.
Yes, and I realize that all of the companies, UPS, FedEx, whatever they are, Postal Service, they are like little Ace Venturas everywhere they go.
Ace Ventura, Pet Detective, opening scene.
I'm just saying, like when I have the consequences of dealing with claims, I'm going to make sure I do a dang good job on that package because I don't want to be suffering for 40 hours on the phone. And
so a lot of times it's like she's a perfectionist at it, and I'll be like, this is a $50 part. Just get the damn thing gone. I could care less, So I'll factor in. I've got 5 more of those on the shelf. This is not something that can be easily damaged, and it's low dollar. Just throw it in the box. Who cares?
Yeah, you'll wrap it up in I don't
know. And again, we're
what.
selling. Yeah, I'd wrap it up in my old underwear.
Sick.
Not really. She'd stop me.
For sure, I would. Yes.
There's some things I've been like throwing stuff in the box. Don't
like,
put that in that.
We're not putting garbage in there.
That's an old sock.
We're not putting garbage.
Why is there an old sock in our packaging room? Well, I was wearing it one day, along with the other 3 pair of socks I had in winter, and it ripped, and I pulled it off. Yeah, who knows?
No, that's not the case.
But I mean, we use it's. This is a joke that we have running. It's even on our listings where we talk about we're not going to use packing peanuts. We're not going to spend $5 on stinking bubble wrap. You're going to get old sweaty T-shirts and dandelion fluff and tumbleweeds. And in fact, somebody did once say, and I don't care if it's packaged in tumbleweeds. So guess what he got? We went out.
We went and got a tumbleweed.
We went out and grabbed a couple of tumbleweeds out of the yard, and we used them to package. And I think it probably did pretty well.
I don't know how. I mean, the part wasn't.
It wasn't fragile.
And I think that's the difference. It's like it's a joke. We're not using garbage to pack these parts most of the time. Most of the time. Like if I have an old cracker box or like something like that, I'll shred it. We have a big shredder.
We have a big shredder. You know the ASMR videos on YouTube? Yeah, we should do one of those because people would.
Shredder?
We've got
cardboard shredders.
We've got shredders. We've got some. I mean, it's not stuff that'll shred steel like you see some of them videos. But as far as a shredder goes, they're good shredders.
I guess the point that we're trying to talk about with confidence trust is we don't trust. I don't trust. I don't confidence or trust that you can do a package.
I can do a package, dang well. But there are certain packages I do and certain packages she does. She usually takes the trim from me. If we're doing trim
or glass,
she'll do all the glass because I won't do it to her way, and that's probably a good thing.
The last glass that you did, what happened?
UPS threw it around like they do.
And what happened? It ended up me being 30 hours on the phone crying.
Crying to UPS.
And I literally was crying.
Because that's the only way you can get your money back to them.
So, yeah, I do.
Yeah, but sometimes there's nothing you can do. Some of the glass we just refuse to ship anymore because
they're just going to break it.
There's nothing you can do. There's absolutely nothing you can do.
Robots.
I mean, yeah. Even your best attempt. Anyway, so
yeah.
we have
That's boring.
We have a difference of opinion on how that should be done. And therefore, even though we know the other person can do it, she knows that I can do it. And I know that she can lessen her standard on some things that don't. There was a $29 part she was fretting over the other day, and I'm like, it's $29. We're losing money on shipping as it is because we just guess it's shipping. That's all you can do, and the part's already on the car. So we just guess at it. And anyway, I'm like, just
most of the time, it's a good guess.
Yeah.
I trust that you
have confidence.
I mean, I have confidence that you can do the shipping guess accurately, and many times it's
somewhat.
Right.
You'd better not trust it because sometimes I'm losing $50. There have been times where I've just skunked it totally.
Very rare.
And often we'll ask the buyer to,
if they want to pitch in. If not, that's up to them.
Yeah, we try to be reasonable, but they got to be reasonable too. Anyway,
okay.
We're off on it.
This is boring, I'm sure.
Yep.
Like, what do you care what we do with our life?
Exactly. But I guess that goes into the point of trust. Here we've been together 20 years. We don't necessarily trust, even though we have confidence you can do it. We don't necessarily trust because that has to do with intentions.
What's the track record?
Yep.
History.
But that's even if the track record's good, we know you can do it. Mm-hmm. I know you can lower your standards.
I ain't gonna.
But you probably won't, so I don't necessarily trust it. So what else goes along with that? So just to emphasize that point, here we've been together 20 years, working together, day in, day out. Some of the things that you might, how about abilities? So we've talked about abilities of being able to do like packages, for example. Did I mention your recollection of things? Oh, really? So there's something that I don't. So if we have a disagreement about what happened,
you don't think I'm gonna remember?
Yeah, it's something day, but it's not like it's a steel trap. But she has this innate ability to be able to remember everything, and it's like this word situational association thing that she goes through. So it's like, I'll say something happened on such a no, it didn't. That happened blah 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 day, or that's not how what day it happened on. I'm like, well, how do you know it happened on blah blah blah? And she'll say, well, I was wearing this, and it'll go on. This won't be like that day. It'll be like the week leading up to it. She'll like go through all the things leading up to that day, and like, well, I wore this on this day, and I went here, and I did da and that. I'm like, well, what does that have to do with the day we're talking about? Well, because it relates to all the boxes are touching one another. If you understand the comedic reference. Anyway,
I remember a lot.
So she'll like remember all those things associated, but still. I don't trust her with it.
I have been wrong.
And that's because it's not a steel trap. So I'll like, prove it to me. And then she
many times I do prove it.
Often.
I write a lot down. I remember a lot.
You do. And again, it's through association. Not that it's a steel trap.
No.
But again, I don't trust you on it. Mm-hmm. But I have confidence that you remember a lot.
Yeah.
So what else? How about the other way?
Oh, I feel like we're like on the couch in therapy, and we're like divulging some of our relationship to the internet. Why's it got to be about us?
It's people's, but because it's.
No, it's fine. I was thinking about
similarity of morality.
So that's obviously a strength, and my memory is obviously a strength.
Yep.
So let's talk about your weaknesses then.
Oh, thank you. That's a great intro.
Okay, so many times
I think I need
when
a
we're
break.
at work, when we're working, because again, that's all we're doing, Chad will say, I'm just tired and I'm just done. I need to be done. We need to go home and we just need to be done. But many times I'm the one that says, no, we're not done. We are going to finish what's in the queue or finish whatever we need to get done because I don't want to linger it into the morning or the next day. I want to get it done. And so I usually am pushing you to do that, you know?
And so I think, so if I understand where you're going with this, then and oftentimes I'll just, okay, fine, let's get it done. But there was a while there where I couldn't do that.
No, and this was pre-disfellowshipping.
We were going through a lot of stress with the congregation.
You were, and it was like once 5 o'clock hit, you physically could not work anymore. It was like your heart was hurting. He was having all this physical
But I went through that
problems.
recently, too, another exit after we were disfellowshipped.
But
had
it wasn't
another
as
round.
severe. It wasn't as severe.
Yeah, I don't know about that, but
But what do you mean?
I had that situation happen again there, too. Remember, I had to go stink and do the run test on the dumb machine and all that. That was post-disfellowshipping. The stress
Really?
test. We're going to go through this right now.
Should I pull out the calendar and prove it? I'm going to look that up.
I know you will.
Whatever the case. The
I
point,
think we even did some video stuff on it. Anyway.
I'll look it up and I'm going to put it in the description. And it will be fine if I'm wrong, but I'm just saying, like, many times you'll be like, your ability is, I can't do it anymore. I'm tired. I'm suffering. Whatever it is, I need to stop. But usually, like, we're gonna just push through it.
You'll say we'll push
Let's
through
just
it,
push through
but during those time periods, I had to put my foot down and say, no, I can't.
Yeah.
I got to stop. So again, she has confidence that I have the ability. Based on my track record, that I can just keep going and get done with it. But she can't always trust that because there have been situations where I can't do it.
Yeah.
You know, it's sort of like when we moved here. You know, we moved here and I absolutely broke down.
Yeah.
I mean, she literally grabbed my collar and said,
I grabbed him, yeah. I'm like, knock it off right now.
this is our new home. We don't have another home.
And
Suck it up.
I think at that time period, we had only been married for 3 years.
Yep.
So it was like, I'd never seen you that way before. I'd never seen you weak like that. You've always been the strong person.
You're supposed to be the strong one. Suck it up.
And that's basically what I said. Like, no, you have to be the strong one because I can't do this, without you being strong.
And I sucked it up.
Yeah.
I mean, after a $1,200 hospital stay and getting pumped full of fluids.
Yeah,
and
that was tough. It was a tough time.
after puking in the bushes for 3 days.
Yeah.
Anyway, more fun
Yeah.
stories.
Yeah. And I don't want people to think like I'm just saying that you have moments of weakness, but I have moments of weakness.
But that's the point. That is the point, is that you can't trust. You can have confidence they have the ability to it, but you can't trust because, again, go back to that point where we talked about, children earlier.
Yeah.
Did we talk about that?
Yeah, a little bit. People will just give their children, sleep them over, go take them out in service, whatever you want with my child.
That ends up being, that's not real trust, that's misplaced. If trust is
how you
broken,
see it, yeah.
then it's not really, then it's, that's dangerous.
Yeah. And I don't want to say that I know that children are way more valuable than animals, but like Swiffer is like my fur child, but she's also a service dog, so she's always with me. I keep my eyes peeled on her all the time.
And there are times where she flat out does not trust me.
I just cannot. I don't trust anyone with Swiffer. Like, I'd never have her.
So she'll give me
without my
specific instructions. That she has confidence that I will listen to her instructions. Sometimes, for example, do not take her out of her cage. I'm going over here.
Yeah.
Okay. She
she's-
has confidence based on my track record that I won't purposefully break her rules. But we have different puppy parenting styles.
Yeah.
So she's very
Swiffer's
hovering.
not allowed to go outside by herself.
Yep. I'll go out there, and whereas I will let her out in the yard, and I'll be out there. but I will not be in the yard watching her. I'll be around the corner working in the truck, and I'll look back and make sure she's still there. I'll look in the trees, make sure there's no owls or hawks around.
Any birds, yeah.
But she won't shoot. Tiffany's like right there.
No, I'm
she's the hover mama.
Helicopter mama, and I'm right there next to her. I'm watching everything she does.
So we have a parenting style that's different. Therefore, she,
We might be that way with real children, I think, too.
And I bet you that's something that parents go through. They could probably
Yeah.
comment on that more than, we can. But,
Yeah.
So in other words, you may not trust your spouse with your children because they will not, going back to that scholarly article, they will not act the same way you do with your child.
Yeah. And again, I think children are a little bit different than dogs.
Oh,
and
they're
cats.
more.
Obviously, they're
they're
way more
even
important.
more important.
They are
Absolutely.
a person.
Yeah.
But it's like that child is 50% made up of mama and 50% made up of. There's like two there, right? So it's like equally would be the dad's child, just as equal as the mom's child,
And that illustrates the difference of. So here you have equal responsibility and
What I'm
equal
saying.
love for the child. You would say,
You'd
maybe
hope that.
different, but you'd hope that in the best case scenario, right?
We're talking obviously in generalities here, but
But that it just goes to show that there are differences there.
yep.
So again, you can gain confidence in someone, but can you say that they do it exactly the way that you would? No,
Never.
you just can't. Anything else you want to say in that regard? I mean, I think we've summarized it pretty well. I thought that article was very good in that. I think they missed that one point that they just missed. They totally, entirely don't consider the fact that humans really aren't, at least biblically, simply aren't to trust one another. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Every time the Bible talks about trust, it says, do not trust a man, do not trust princes, do not trust blah, blah, blah. But it does say you can trust God.
It
put
says
your
not
trust
even to
in
trust
Him.
yourself.
That's right. You're
so,
human.
And I mean, I would hope that you would know yourself better than other people.
Right, but it goes to the point.
What your abilities
How many
are,
married people that are happily married? I'm happily married. I love you. I think you're beautiful, and whatever else. Would I trust myself in the Playboy Mansion?
Better not.
Would you trust me in
Better
the
not.
So the point is that, well, then if you can't say that, then you're just lying to yourself to give yourself the warm fuzzies.
Mm-hmm.
And in that way, not a lack of trust is a protection.
Yeah.
And
You're lying to yourself.
Yeah, you're right. You're lying to yourself. And to give yourself the warm fuzzies. And it's dangerous.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
Yeah. I think a person just needs to be honest with themselves and what they really can do and what they really can handle.
Yes.
I mean, I think about...
But that's the thing. If you don't recognize your own human frailties
Yeah.
and say, and pulling trust off the table puts that right in front of your face. Your own human frailties. And lets you remember, you are human and you ain't as good as you think you is.
Mm-hmm. Like I said, I don't know if this is a video that people are going to find amusing. Maybe it's just funny to watch. I don't know. And I don't care. We can be a comedic if we want to be. But, we haven't really shared too much. We have vlogs and we share some of our life after, being disfellowship. I mean, we've always done cars. But even before we were disfellowship, we've always done cars.
Yep.
So it's like we're talking about our relationship, which we really don't do that much. But, I mean, I guess... one of the things that I'm scared of is if something happened to you. I guess either one of us. I'm a little bit scared for you if I died, and if I died, yeah. And I think I would be scared also if something happened to you. I'm scared for you. Do you understand what I'm saying? That's a word salad right there.
Yeah, I think what you're getting at is that
we have different things that we do.
again, you have to take that into the context of we work together every single day.
For sure.
All day.
Mm-hmm.
And so we are intimately involved in what the other one is doing. It's true. Like she said, I'll go pull apart she'll go pull apart.
That's just for expediency most of the time.
Yep, but I mean, if there's something where we run into an issue where we need the other's help, they're always there. That's the same thing with packages. She'll be doing packages, I'll be doing packages, but the scripture doesn't lie. 2 is better than 1. You know, so oftentimes we will, hey, since you're right here, do this, or hey, come up and help me with this quick, and then we'll assist the other person with whatever they're doing.
Sure. But I think what I'm saying is it's like there's certain things that you do that I really don't do. And some of it has to do with abilities, and vice versa. And so I just feel like, I don't know, it's like we balance each other in so many ways, but also what am I trying to say? Like,
and I'm trying to understand what you're trying to say in context of what we're talking about here, which is trust or confidence.
Yeah.
So is it?
Well,
in other words, you don't have confidence in yourself if something would happen to me?
Yeah, and I think vice versa. Like I feel like there's things that I do that you don't have. I don't want to say you don't have the ability.
Nope.
And same way that the opposite. Like, I think we have abilities, and I think we could fulfill those roles.
So you have confidence in it, but you can't have the trust.
Yeah,
that
I guess
you'd be
that's
able
what I'm
to do
trying
it.
to say.
Yep. Yeah, it's interesting when you consider all those types of things. But again, just going back to that article, I thought that was a very a good way of putting it distinctively. Confidence is you have the ability based on record. Mm-hmm. Trust is based on motivation, and beyond that, what was the term? Similarity of morality. Mm-hmm. That you would do the same thing in the same situation.
Yeah, exactly the way.
And that's just, you can just never say that. You just can't. Mm-hmm. And it's like the article doesn't even consider the possibility that that's an impossibility for humans. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, I can have confidence that you'll do it, even when we go to the store.
Oh, we got to check ourselves when we go grocery shopping.
Oh man, each and every one, both of us, both ways. Put that back. Put that back. You put that junk food back.
Yeah.
But the ice cream's on sale. You put it back. Put that Sour Patch Kids back.
No, what did I say today? I said we won't buy XYZ if it's there. We'll buy junk we don't need if it's on sale. Isn't that what I said? Something like that?
We will not pay full price for what we need, but we will pay for something that's on sale.
I'm just
that we don't need.
I'm just saying we have to check ourselves. We have to shop together most of the time.
Yes.
Because we have to be on
because
each
we
other's
don't
cases
trust
all the
each
time.
Other. We have confidence the other person knows what we want, but we don't trust each other that we're going to be able to do it. We're always checking each other and pulling stuff back out of the carts when we grab it and throw it
I like to hide it under the thing.
She does. I'm like getting to the checkout register. I'm like, where the hell did this come from? I didn't turn my back for 2 seconds.
All I did was just shove it under the lettuce.
Hide it under the health food. Oh man.
It's called balance.
I don't know what that is, but we try.
Anyway, it's getting long enough for now.
Yep.
But
hopefully you find something interesting in there and something you can use. That you certainly don't have to trust the elders. You certainly shouldn't trust the organization. And my goodness, there's no reason why you have to feel like you have to trust someone else.
Definitely not.
And I think that's something that we're not blinded because of our backgrounds. We weren't blinded from that. And I think a lot of people are in this system of things. They're just blinded to the idea that you're supposed to. It's a similarity of morality where they think that you have to trust everyone. And you don't. You don't. In fact, the scriptures tell you expressly not to. And that's not a bad thing. That's not a bad thing. It's like I tell people, don't trust me. I'm a human. If you have confidence in me because of anything, it's because I've proved it to you. Mm-hmm. And that you can at least have some sort of reliance on. But I'm still human.
And I think it's interesting that you can build a track record with somebody but they can so quickly break that.
Absolutely.
You know?
Absolutely.
Like years and years and years of somebody having a relation, like a marriage or a family member or friendship or whatever it is, or maybe it's even like a work type relationship. They can do something to you to break that, and it's like forever gone.
Or at least takes a long time to ruin it. You know, I think a Watchtower article correctly said in one time that it said of trust, though. So that would say, I'd say correctly in the sense that the ideal is correct, the word is wrong. But they said trust can be is built over lifetimes, and I think they were quoting someone else, somebody else.
When
As
are they
always,
not? When are they
they're
not
always
quoting
stealing and plagiarizing someone else and not giving them credit. Anyway, trust is built over a lifetime and can be ruined in seconds. You know, but I would say that confidence, trust you shouldn't have in the first place, but confidence is built over a long track record, and yet having confidence that someone will hold to it is quite another thing.
For sure. Well, hopefully this video was at least entertaining. I don't know. We talked about ourselves. Maybe you learned something. Maybe it was just something we wanted to share. Not that we're teachers. We're just sharing what we think, which is not that important.
As they say, noses are like assholes.
I hate that saying.
That's a great saying.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
You know the reference? We all have them, and they all stink.
Yeah.
Actually, I think it says opinions are like noses, not assholes. I think it's two ways. Noses are like opinions. Or I've heard it be said, assholes are like opinions. We all have them, and they all stink.
They all smell.
Smell. They all smell.
They all smell. Okay, whatever. Whatever. We're so stupid. But leave in the comments what you want to see from us. Like, what should we talk about? Well,
let's give them something to talk about.
Send us a message if you want, unassignedvlog@gmail.com.
And we'll be sure to try to respond someday.
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyway, somebody asked for an update for the Mustang. Let's throw that on there in the end. We didn't do much, just some engine stuff.
Did you do some video vlog? Did
you
record some stuff?
I did do a little bit of video of, what we did a little bit.
And where is that
Mustang.
footage?
Hopefully I can find it. If not, there'll be something else. Don't trust me. So we're on another escapade. We might be picking up that. But what we're really here for is this. I don't remember what year it is, but it's sitting on a motorhome chassis, excuse me. Flatbed with turtle deck. Get some rust in the doors. Just the one door. Well finished inside. Decent anyway. The original hand lettering on it. I better shut this off because we're running out of power, or actually out of storage. Okay, this is Dale. Dale's going to explain some of the history on this truck.
Well, I was just saying anyway, so like when they used to lift these up and the elevators dumped the grain, there was chains that went across on the main beams, and they ran the hood into it a few times. So
what do you mean, the chains on the beams?
So there's two wheels. They used to have slings that go under and chains, and so when they lift them up,
they'd lift the whole truck off to dump them up because they didn't have a
no hoist on them at
the time. Okay.
So you can see the markings in there. I went and bought another hood, and it just didn't work the way I wanted it, so I put this one back on. I thought it looked better.
I
Yeah,
like this
yeah.
better.
So it was just part of the.
It's got a story to it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
I like that better.
So the other hood's back here. You can do what you want.
This is a 53.
This is a 50.
50.
1950. Yeah, you can, like the door handles, of course, the fuel tank or nothing's the same.
Right.
And which corn sheller did you say was on the back of
I
it?
believe this was a number 12 Minneapolis motor.
And it's sitting on a
This is a 1995 Airstream motor
with
P30
the
chassis.
460 in it. I mean
450.
420, 454. Yep. Sorry,
Yeah, fuel injection.
Ford guy problem.
Yeah. Right. And the visor came off my 37 Studebakers.
Okay. Very neat.
But I had to add that. Anyway, so no, it's a.
And you put cab corners in it,
I did, and I have door bottoms for it,
and
too.
apparently you found a truck that had the same color.
No, that's
Or
just
did you?
old primer. I didn't do nothing. I just sanded it and let it rust.
Huh.
That's what you do. Yes.
This down, no, but I mean the
That's all
corner.
brand new metal. Inners and outers.
Oh, okay. That's just primer.
Yeah, that's just a factory black coat primer.
Oh,
And I
okay.
just left it chalk out like the rest of it.
Okay.
So that's probably in 16 or 17 I put them on.
And about the only other rust I noticed was just on the bottom of the
the bottom
doors.
of the doors, and I have two door bottoms that go with it.
Okay, perfect.
So, like I said, it's just an oddity of a truck. I wish I could put stuff on though, because you guys can like cruise in it.
No, it's fine. It's gonna fit right into our
I saw.
children.
I saw. You have the-
Are chilling.
We have lots of we have no physical children.
So did you have to drop a new tank in it then?
Yep. So that is a 1986 Tahoe tank
Okay.
with a 1985 TBI big block suburban fuel pump, because you need 32 pounds of fuel pressure on these TBIs. So I had to go with a suburban fuel pump, you know, because I got rid of the 80-gallon motorhome tank,
Gotcha.
which you didn't want. This bed is all those cut poles. We just taken down brother-in-law's got a sawmill, and we saw all the aluminum.
What are they?
These ones are probably fur, I believe. And if you look, some of the tags even go through the sawmill and into the poles when they test if they're out there yet. So,
Okay.
Cool.
otherwise, the only thing I really cheapened on here, I couldn't find anything, is just cheap mirrors, and I haven't sanded them to let them rust yet. But all the mirror brackets are original.
I've probably got a couple of
We
big
got
old
some.
mirrors. Yep.
Yep, we got something.
Not that I mind that even.
These are the brackets that were on here, on this truck. So that's the worst part. That's the worst door right there. And I have, like I said, them also.
Shouldn't be too big of a deal. At least they're very exposed, but these trucks are not bad.
I got inners and outers, but they're this long. You got to cut them to what you need.
Yep, yep.
If you like doing that. But this is just everything out of the motorhome. GM. This is all GM stuff. Headlight switches, motorhome, steering console, motorhome, wiring, fuel injection, cruise control works on here, so you can do all that.
And you said the gauges
speedometer-
on the motorhome just fit right in it.
Yep, but they're all hidden. The speedometer and odometer's hidden underneath because I didn't want to cut more squares to
Yep.
try to find all that, or
Yep.
the high beam switch. These actually do work when you need them to, so I just
Okay.
did that. I'm just saying what I was going to do. This was supposed to be a wedge bed.
Truck's solid still.
Yep, so I was going to run the skirts all the way, put on the back wheel. You know, so I can skirt in the whole bottom.
Yep.
It'll be all round tube. That's why it's exposed. It was going to be round tube fitting together here.
Yep.
Round tube around that, and the steel would be about half in. And then wedge it up about probably a foot and a half, 2 feet on the cab. You know, because this is all downhill because it goes straight with the motor.
Right.
But I was going to wedge it up and just have it like an old car wedge bed, but I didn't like it because of the corn shelling. So
Right.
the truck was more important than what I did to the bed.
Uh-huh.
To me, it was. So
Right, right.
then you got to change it.
Have you ever held anything on this?
Nope. Nope. Actually, I got like 3 rows of screws on these because there was an old coupe I was going to buy.
People in a
Which one
parade?
for
Have you
Chevy?
held people in a parade?
Nope. Nope. Actually, I just put the new wood on it this year.
Okay, okay.
And like I said, we just made it. This was never supposed to be exposed. This was actually just supposed to be covered by motor round pipe and tin. The front corners would be rounded because everything on these trucks is rounded. So there's only tacks in this. The rest of the bed is welded except that front corner because I was going to cut them off and round them in and then follow it because having a square bed on a round truck makes no sense to me. That's not the right. So Actually, basically, oh, here I can hold that for you. There is a motor down inside there somewhere.
Somewhere in there.
Yeah.
It's in the right spot. That's what I like.
So you can see what I did. So I had to make new brackets. I had to do all the wirings.
That's good.
So, but this is all GM factory wiring here. From the solenoids, the cruise controls on there, the overflow bottle, oil, brand new radiator and electric fans though. Right here is the electric brakes. That's just hooked together. I do not have a toggle switch. That's when you turn on the key, brakes release. So you keep that in mind.
Okay. So you can't, pretty much you got to have the key on to pull it.
Yes,
Okay.
but I don't know. We can fire it up quick.
Yeah, let's do that.
So, there's probably 50 miles on oil change. Because I just did that probably a couple of weeks ago.
Okay.
Maybe 100. I can drive to work.
Being a motorhome, it's probably pretty close to quirk free.
Couple other things I did. I didn't like the door gaps here. So I actually broke the spot welds from here down. It was just a factory defect. They just didn't stamp things nice.
Yep.
So I just drilled them, knocked it back, and I just put a bunch of mud on here so it would keep it cool.
Yep.
So it didn't burn the outer tank. I just welded them up. So just moved them back about a quarter inch. So otherwise I can't get my lines to the...
Yep. So what primer did you use on this again?
I didn't use nothing. This is the paint. This is
Oh, so this is the, so you just knocked off the edge, but you found cab corners that had the same color.
No, that's black actually.
Oh, that's black.
Yep. And if you look at the bottom of the door rust, that's why I was looking at that. Those are a couple years old and chalky. So
God dang, that looks like the same color.
it's good enough for what I was doing.
Yeah. Yep. Okay.
This, you can rub them out and get some more off.
Yep.
But
I like it.
I don't mind it the way it is.
I just don't know what to touch it with because I don't want to ruin it.
Yep.
Because you know lacquers will ruin some things and a bunch of other stuff. So
Yeah, if you start messing with stuff, you better be ready to change it and be disappointed.
So it's got the factory cap on it, factory exhaust. I was gonna do stacks. I'm like, I don't want stacks. I like double. Even though these things are lumber, but this thing rides rough for me.
Yeah.
Because I didn't pull any springs yet.
What do you think it weighs?
I couldn't even guess what a motor would be for weight. So
Especially with all that stuff on it, I'm guessing 7.
maybe. I bet it's lighter than that, even maybe.
Okay.
I would think. I don't think these cabs are up that, as far as that goes. So. But anyway, so fuel tank's back here. One thing I would do maybe.
How many gallons is that tank?
This one I think is 26.
Okay.
I think I'd raise it a little bit more, or put it up in here, because it's not quite enough angle, and the curve goes back.
Gotcha.
So, but that's kind of a...
Yep, I see what you're saying. I may actually hinge this.
I know, cut it off completely.
Well, I was thinking about hinging it that way, or maybe making it longer so that way it can fold up all the way over, or even that way if you've got something hauling, have it go straight up and down. I don't know, or have it to where it locks into place to be straight out. I don't know.
The original intent was to actually put it on a scissors style.
Yep.
And actually the whole thing, so when that came up, this was just going. That was my original intent with it when I did this.
Yep.
It's just run the hydraulics and lift it up, and you can find them electric or hydraulic pretty reasonable. So.
Right.
But, and I didn't know which way to do it, but I never really intended to haul much with it because when I go do stuff, I've been to Menards and got wood with it though, lumber already.
Right. How far is Menards from here?
Probably 36 miles.
Okay.
So,
Where is that?
Marshall.
Okay.
So, just stuff like that. But I know you said you want to get rid of the wheels and put different wheels on them.
I'm just going to go with, because these motorhomes, they came with Alcoas on them too, So they should be available pretty easily.
Okay. But, so, turn signals and parking lights also.
Okay.
Those are the originals, but I actually put inserts in them to make them so they are marker lights and
Okay.
turn signals.
Great.
And then the turn signals and marker lights there too.
Okay.
All 12 volt, just normal headlights. All that was done.
How about bumper brackets to put the bumper on? Is that?
So
What's your
nothing
idea
on
there?
this is that. The bumper, the filler is there.
Yep.
I didn't like it. I tried setting it up there one day on blocks and I thought it looked hideous, so I left it off. But
Yep.
that's not.
Yep.
Because they stick out so far.
Sure.
If you look right here, I took this much of the motorhome off to make this fit.
Mm-hmm.
And that's everything's so tight up underneath there, so
Right.
you're so restricted on room on these. but I also never wanted to build a rear engine one. I don't like that.
Yeah. I think if it's a cab-over, there's a reason why it's called a cab-over.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
It's a Cabover engine. Yes, it is. That's the way it is.
That's just my opinion.
Our 47 Ford is like really squeezed, so
Your leg
I'm
runs.
tiny and I just barely fit, and so he's like cramped in there. So we're like,
Did you set this? Are you cramped in this one too pretty bad?
Oh no,
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 because
that you got plenty of
that's
room in there. You should see it how different it is. It's
It's
very small in there, but they've got it totally slammed down over the chassis.
Okay.
You know, so it.
I saw some guys do these with the 16-inch motorhome wheels or put them on pickup chassis. Absolutely thought the fender got too big on these.
Absolutely.
So
Yeah.
the motorhome to me made more sense to fill it out.
Yeah, and quite honest, we're working on doing another build now with an F450 chassis, and again the 19.5s, or one of them has adapters on it, and we run the 22.5s.
Okay, well, and that would be okay. I just couldn't go smaller. I see the guys do that, and they look.
Yep,
It's,
that fills out nice. That feels out real nice.
I think it works, like I said, the way it kind of was supposed to.
So that 47
Yeah, see, that's good.
turbo, it's just no space between the motor.
With the turbo makes that doghouse so
Right.
wide.
Yes,
then,
exactly. So there's just cramped. So I put her kennel right on top of the motor where it's all insulated, and she just rides in the middle.
Oh, on the hot summer days, these get warm inside too.
Yeah.
Yep. And you said you had an AC setup for this?
Yeah, you get it. It's inside there. It's just an under dash one, but
Okay.
Okay.
it's actually, I think the pump is there, the under dash unit is there, the condenser. I think everything's there for it. It was just an under dash one that I just ordered to get with it. So
Right, right. Nope, very cool, very cool.
You're right on the edge. I know. How far up you want to be? You're like this far from each side. Back here? You probably got a couple feet till you hit the fenders. Oh, you got plenty of room. Yeah, it's down. It's down, like the pintle is down, I mean. Sorry, that was a really bad record, but there it is. I had to help him load it. There she is. Gotta name her.
He's gonna unload and Tiffany's gonna take her first spin. think she's just going to go around the block and park, as she said. Flowers in the pots today. Finally, on May 17th or 18th or 20th or whatever the heck this is. It's hard to see out of the front of that thing. You'd think you'd be able to see right down on the ground. Nope, you don't see nothing. Yeah, you got your handle stuck down. You got it in park? Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna park that. I'm just gonna drive around, park that. Yep.